Yeah, we're getting healthy today as we get ready to send the kids back to school. You know, 80% of learning comes through a child's eyes, so making sure they can see the board, they can read their books properly is so important. So we have Dr. David Wolf with the Lake Oswego Vision Clinic with us today, and we also have 7-year-old Caden here. Hello.
Hi.
So,
who has beautiful eyes, I might add. Dr. Wolf, you were going to do an exam for us.
Sure.
Give a sense of what you're testing kids like Caden when they come in.
Just look at this light, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch how he looks at the light. When I cover his eye, it goes to its resting position. When I go to the other side, he lines up, and not only do I look at how they line up, but how he recovers. And so we can do a variety of things in addition to just simply reading the distance chart. We want to check his vision, check for power of his eyes, see how the two eyes work together. Because not only does a child have to point his eyes in a certain position, he has to be able to focus them in the right place too in order to see what he's doing.
Dr. Wolf, are there some things parents at home can keep an eye out? Are there warning signs? How do you know if your child might have vision problems?
Well, kids these days are all on handheld devices, so if they're holding them really, really close, or really close to the TV, that's one. They rub their eyes a lot, they complain of headaches, maybe things aren't going well. The trouble, though, is sometimes you can't tell there's a trouble, and that's why we encourage them to be checked.
And how often?
Really, we start by having them, testing the first year of their life. That's where the baby kind of sits on mom and dad's lap, and we test a few things. But then about ages 3 to 4, we can do a full exam because they can actually participate. And then once they start school, we actually recommend every year.
Caden, have you ever had your eyes checked before?
Yes, at my school once.
And what do you remember about it?
I remember that, so they put this one contact inside my eye and flashed the light.
Oh, okay. So is that common, doctor, at schools, that they're testing for vision these days?
A lot of times they'll test just the distance vision. And that is such a tiny, tiny part of what's really going on. Like I said before, if the eyes aren't working together, teaming together and focusing, the child can really struggle. And since all of, or the majority of what they learn is through their eyes, it's really, really important that we know how they're functioning. And then in a comprehensive exam, we're also looking inside the eye, checking eye health to make sure that they can perform the way they need to.
You touched on it here, but how critical is it that the child's eye, that they're able to read properly, they're able to keep up in school? What have you found?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I've had, the coach send me a kid who's not hitting the ball right, and he's in the 7th, 8th grade, maybe even in high school, and he's never had an eye exam before.
Wow.
And you cover up one eye, he sees great. The other eye, he says, well, this is my bad eye, I can't see the chart. The kid knew. He's been functioning all his life with one eye. When eyes work together and team together, you really have a better chance of staying ahead, keeping up, and those types of things.
Are you seeing more issues because kids are using cell phones and iPads and computers more, or not necessarily?
You know, I don't know that we're seeing more trouble, but there is eye strain issues, and a lot of the things that we can do now is where we can actually prescribe a lens that has an anti-blue filter in it, which these have, in order to try to cut down on some of that light, because the handheld devices give off a lot of light and can add to eye strain, and kids of all ages, even before school age, are already on these devices.
You know, when I would take my kids when they were about Caden's age, when they go for their yearly physical, they would do the eye chart exam. Is the eye chart reliable anymore?
Well, it's a good start. And I think that's one of the troubles is kids go to their pediatrician and they get the distance check. They go to the school screening and they get the distance check. But what they really don't know is how are the child's eyes functioning together, and do they really have all the abilities that they need to have to learn.
And Caden was telling us, Kathy, that he's going into 2nd grade, is it? What are you most excited about this school year?
I'm mostly excited about making new friends.
Aww. Are you a big reader?
Yes.
All right. What's the best book you've read this summer? Can you have a recommendation?
Probably the Bible.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. Boy, that's $1 million answer.
I know. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, and your
Thank you
vision
both.
checks out great, apparently. You said you do not wear glasses. Well, thanks for being our special guest this morning, and Dr. Wolf, thanks for having coming in as well.